Meet Granny Sunshine. She's one of the most successful models in Chinese online shopping. She's 71, and she can pose for 100 photos per minute. Her posing is amazing, but I wanted to talk to her because her success in a youth-dominated industry like fashion is a sign of some big changes that are transforming China. China is turning gray on a scale the world has never seen. In about 30 years, China's population over 60 will peak at almost 500 million people. Countries around the world are getting older, but in China, decades of the one-child policy have resulted in especially drastic demographic change. What happens when one of the biggest workforces in the world gets old? I'm Isabel Niu. This is Quartz. Subscribe to the Quartz channel. These are the results when you search for clothes for women over 60 on Taobao.com, which is kind of like China's version of Amazon. The results go on for about 100 pages, and Granny Sunshine is in almost 90% of them. Well, she has a real name.
我叫杨光，就是完全把奶奶的服装让老年人来拍，这是从我开始的。
Today's shoot is all about sweaters. She'll try on more than 150 of them.
就每天这样穿衣服伸呀脱呀，这个手要动无数遍。我就想，这就是锻炼身体。
Yang says she actually had to educate the brands who hire her about what people her age like and don't like.
刚来的时候，给我拍的都是那种老奶奶的服装，就是那种很笨很土的。
The market for the clothes young models is growing because of a change in the population. She's part of China's post-war baby boomer generation, born between 1946 and 1964. It's the largest baby boomer generation in the world, and in the next few years, the entire generation will be of retirement age. That's a group with a lot of purchasing power.
养老服务今天你会发现在中国一下子火了起来。
Hu Zhan is a social scientist at Fudan University who studies aging populations.
在中国，人们叫的更多的一个话，管它叫银发产业。
By 2030, one estimate says the total amount spent by people over 65 in China will reach $2.8 trillion. That's 7 times what it is now. Hu predicts that a silver economy boom will hit China in about 5 to 10 years. But in one city, it's already here. I'm in Shanghai, the most cosmopolitan city in China. It's also the oldest. 1 in 3 residents here is age 60 or older. This is one of the most lucrative sectors of the silver economy, retirement communities. About 1,600 people live here. The average age is 78. In the West, retirement communities like this have been around for a while, but it's a relatively new concept in China, and it's catching on fast. Chai Keyue is 74 years old. He sold his apartment to move here about 8 years ago.
不要儿女养老的想法，已经是就是说这种想法的人越来越多，对吧？所以说住到我们这里来的人，这个都是有这种想法，自己靠自己嘛。
Chai's story is a major change from the long-standing expectation in China. Traditionally, the elderly are cared for by their children at home. But decades of the one-child policy have transformed the Chinese family structure, creating a whole generation of 4-to-1 families, with more older people than young people. In other words, more older people to care for and fewer people to care for them. And in the future, as lifespans increase, that could get even worse. But Hu says the diagram only tells part of the story.
对吧？似乎作为一个单一的家庭的结构看，就似乎很麻烦了。但实际上问题没那么严重，我倒觉得。
That's because China isn't just getting older, it's also getting richer. Decades of economic growth have allowed the newest generation of elderly Chinese to accumulate wealth, especially in wealthy cities like Shanghai. But China's hope is that that prosperity will eventually come to the entire country. And that means the way China thinks about its old people is going to have to change. Currently, China sets a mandatory retirement age of 60 for men and 55 for women. and retirees are discouraged from rejoining the workforce.
我们的邻居就是对门对户的年轻人就说：“阿姨，你还这样奔波干什么呀？在家想想幸福啦。为什么老年人就不能工作呢？”
And this isn't just true in China. Populations are aging around the world, which means seniors everywhere are increasingly able and eager to be included in society for longer. But the tendency is still to think of senior citizens as a problem, a drain on society.
老龄化之所以我们把它认为是挑战和问题，是在于我们今天的社会是一个以中青年人为中心设计出来的社会经济体制。
The global trend of increasing longevity presents a chance not just for China, but also for the whole world to rethink old age. For the hundreds of millions of Chinese people just entering their golden years, the role they get to play might be a blueprint for how societies get old in the future. Do you think 70 is the new 50? Should our society rethink the definition of seniors? Tell us what you think in the comments. And next week, I'll bring you a story about how Japan is turning to immigration to deal with its rapidly aging population.
哎，有没有人跟您说过您长得有点像希拉里？
我能够像这么伟大的人物，那我太自豪。